Yesterday I read an article that raised tech concerns for lawyers, and I think there are ethical implications as well, and I think it's important for you to understand what this was about. Apparently, the United States intelligence services are concerned that a particular security camera that's manufactured by a Chinese company can be used by the Chinese government to spy. The camera is called Hikvision. That's the brand of camera, I believe, that it goes by. And it's made by a company that's based out of China that's something like 42% owned by the Chinese government. The camera is sold to consumers. It's very, very popular. It's been used by the American government in some military bases. It's been used in Ireland, in Brazil, and all throughout the world, and in particular by a lot of American companies for security purposes. And what people are worried about is that the Chinese government will use this camera in order to spy on American activities and that sort of thing. The reason this really piqued my interest is because not too long ago, I read another article about how the American intelligence services were concerned about Russian spying. This is not a conspiracy theory, nor is it politically motivated. Stay with me on this one. It appears that the antivirus software system made by a company called Kaspersky can be used to spy on American companies. Kaspersky is a very popular software manufacturer. They're based out of Moscow, and what they found was that Kaspersky was used several years ago to actually collect data about a very important NSA hacking tool, and that data got into the hands of the Russians. Now, both the Chinese company that makes Hikvision and Kaspersky says they're not doing anything untoward, nothing nefarious, and if they ever found out that there were any problems or flaws, they patched them, they brought them to the attention of the proper authorities, and as far as they're concerned, they haven't done anything wrong, and I don't doubt it. But you know what I always say, if they're thinking about it, we need to be thinking about it. If the United States intelligence agencies are concerned that products like Kaspersky and security cameras like Hikvision are going to be used potentially, or could be used potentially, for spying on behalf of the Russians and the Chinese, we as lawyers need to be worried about that as well. Remember that just as the government is a target for spies, so too are lawyers. Just as big companies are targets for spies, so too are lawyers. We are the gatekeepers for a tremendous amount of information that those prying eyes want to see. I believe that a governmental agency in the United States recently downgraded the safety rating of the Hikvision cameras. And I also read that in the UK, they were very concerned about Kaspersky software. It appears that Barclays Bank has been giving it out to millions of his customers, and they're worried that that now can be used as a tool by the Russian government to spy on all these people. When I saw these two articles come together, I said, wow, you know what? Lawyers need to be worried about this. Do we use Hikvision security cameras in our offices? Do our landlords use them in their offices? Do we even know whether the landlord uses security cameras? Do we use Kaspersky antivirus software in our offices? Do our lawyers use it on their own home computers? Listen, I'm not saying that we need to stop using those two products right away. What I am saying is that we do need to start thinking about it. Lawyers need to consider who manufactures the products that we use. Lawyers need to consider who manufactures the products that we use on our own systems at home, because that can be used as a backdoor to gain access into the office files. I've long believed that lawyers have a three-part duty when it comes to technology and cyber issues like this. We've got to understand, anticipate, and act. Lawyers need to understand the issues that are out there. Our duty of competence under Rule 1.1 demands that we understand it. I read recent advisory opinions to establish a duty to understand obvious scams and obvious cyber concerns. Are things like Kaspersky software and Hikvision products obvious flaws? I don't even really know that they're technically flaws yet. I don't know that you'd say that they're obvious. But I do say that it's enough of a red flag for us to start thinking about it. And I believe that after people start to read these articles more, in about a year, less than that, these will be considered obvious concerns. It's my opinion. Understand, anticipate, and act. You've got to be able to anticipate the potential problems. You've got to be able to have a certain level of competence about these systems. Combine that with your duty of diligence under Rule 1.3, which means you need to anticipate the pitfalls, the ethical pitfalls, as well as the practical pitfalls that we might have in the practice. Understand these issues, anticipate that there may be problems, and then act. I'm not saying that it's time for you to stop using Kaspersky. I'm not saying that it's time to stop using Hikvision. But you may have to act in the future. Keep your eyes open to these problems. Watch the news to see if these things are talked about a little bit more. Then have conversations with your IT people in-house, your cybersecurity contractors that you use, your consultants, and then come to a determination. And then after you understand, anticipate, and act, memorialize it. Write down the process that you did to research it. Write down a little bit about the conversations that you had and save that proverbial memo to the file. Make sure that you memorialize the fact that you actually made an effort to consider these issues. Make sure that you document the fact that you did research and you took it seriously so that if anything happens down the road, you can show that you did your due diligence. It's not a get out of jail free card, but it is a pump the brakes as you race to the jailhouse door card. Understand, anticipate, and act. Now, go start thinking.